Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out GITGUDracing.com. I've coached hundreds of drivers, from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts, who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. For turn 1, what I'm using as a reference for braking is this grass part over here near the number 1. So you can use either the number 1 or this grass around here. This is gonna be the braking point or the end of this concrete part. At the number 1 here, I'm applying the brakes, and what I want to do into this corner is that I want to make sure I take a late apex and I use a lot the inside curb. So we have to cut this curb as much as we can, but we don't have to cut it from an earlier angle just because it will push the car all the way to this right side, and we don't want that. We want to prepare this corner. Turn 2 is actually the one that matters since it leads to a longer straight, so we want to prioritize this corner instead of the previous one, and we do it by making sure that the car won't track out wider to the right side part of the track. And a later apex it's gonna be key for this. So we apexing nice and late, and we're cutting this curb while trail braking. At the moment that we off the curb, then we put the power down, and we want to give a blimp of throttle in between turn 1 and turn 2. So I'm going now to 60%, and then I'm applying the brakes. So the rhythm is heavy brake, a bit of throttle, small brake, and then be back on power. This for here. Brake, throttle, brake, and again throttle for this. If you'll find yourself that you don't have time in between these two corners to put the power down, in between turn 2 and turn 1, it means that you are overdriving the car into turn 1. It means that you're pushing the car all the way to the right, and obviously you can't be back on power, so you have to be already on brakes. Or if you have too much speed into turn 1, again you won't have time to give it this blimp of throttle. So the positioning here is more important than the speed. That's why turn 1 is gonna feel a bit slower on the exit, and you will compensate it by that blimp of throttle. Then a long trail braking, and be mindful here because there's not a lot of grip on this part, so you'll have to modulate the throttle application. What I found that is very quick is to stay in second gear. It's tempting to upshift to third gear just because the rear will be more happy. The car won't be that unsettled just because the engine RPMs won't be into those aggressive part like it's in second gear. But you will gain a lot of time on the exit if you're gonna stay in second gear and then upshift to third whenever you need it. Going into the next corner, braking marker is again the number 1, but you want to brake slightly before it. What I found in my testing, if I would try to push the braking point at number 1, this next corner, the exit of the next corner would have been very scary because you have that wall on the right side, and also not that consistent. So brake nice and early before number 1. And what's important here and what's gonna make a huge difference in your lap time is cutting the curb on the right. So you have to cut all the way to the grass here with the right side of the car, and immediately when you're off the curb and you have the balance again in your car, you put the power down and you cut the second one right here to the grass. So it's almost like you're imagining drawing a straight line in between those two curves, this one and this one. And you want to take the straightest line possible without doing S's here. And you're gonna do it by cutting a lot. So cutting a lot here is gonna be key. Also maintaining this throttle application and not dropping it to 0 is gonna be a good indicator of good corner for you. So if you're gonna find yourself that you're going on power like I did and then you drop it to 0, that's not gonna be ideal. Even in my case, I dropped it from 40 to 30 or 40 to 35. It's not ideal. Ideally, I want to go always up with the throttle. I was a bit too early and aggressive initially in the shape. That's why I had to do this small correction, but look how close I am to this wall. This is what you should achieve in order to be quick around here. Now going into the next corner, very important in this corner is to maximize the track on entry. So I'm braking almost at the end of this wall on the right side, the white wall, and I want to brake in a straight line and use this exit road on the right side of the white line. Very important to be here close to this barrier. And then you're gonna turn again. It's exactly like turn one. You have to turn late and you have to cut this curb. You have to cut even more than what I did here. This was not ideal because again, this is the next corner that matters, the one in front, not the one that we're at. So we want to sacrifice this corner by going a bit slower, taking a bit of a slower apex, trail braking for longer, and being more on the left on the exit, so that this corner right here is gonna be a bit easier. And what's important to know here is exactly at the curb on the inside of this corner, there's an elevation change. So you have initially some grip around it, like right now, but immediately after you're here and you go just a bit more forward, the grip fades away, because the angle of this corner makes the mechanical grip a bit tougher and the car will feel like you are going to oversteer. Main reasons are the small elevation change, the low gear that you're gonna be in, so you're gonna have high RPMs, and the combination of steering angle because you have to take this right-hander. And as a result, you must know in advance that you have to modulate your throttle application, otherwise you're gonna spin here. Push the car all the way to the left, and now this is a big straight. Take the shortest line possible, the straightest line to the next corner. And for this one, braking point is the second marker. What you want to do here is we want to brake to 100%, so braking very hard initially. Try to use this exit on the left with the left tires before turning in, so that you will have a slight advantage at turning by opening up the corner a bit more. And here, don't go all the way to the white curbs. With a fixed setup, it's not possible. The car will be very bumpy, so you can take a bit like I did here, but it's not ideal to take more. Same here. For the second corner, you don't want to touch it at all. So you want to apex around this part, this one right here, without touching that bigger white curb. You'll be very close to the wall here. And for the hairpin, this is gonna be easy to gain or lose time. My braking point is slightly past the second board. I think I brake way too late here because I kinda missed the apex. You want to brake to 100%, hold it as much as you can, so you're gonna be quicker in this corner and you're gonna be able to brake this late if you're not dropping the brakes that quickly. Obviously, moving the brake bias to the rears is gonna help. Also, you have to train yourself to find that pressure in which you're not locking up. So try to push yourself past your limits. You maybe want to use an active reset here to lock up a few times and then find the perfect release of the brakes. And the second ingredient is gonna be quicker downshifts. You want to downshift as quickly as possible into this corner so that you will maximize the efficiency under braking. So downshifting very quickly to first and putting the power down. Notice this gap in between my inputs. That's why it wasn't perfect, because I slightly missed the apex and I had to wait, because if I would go on the power a bit earlier, I would have met the wall here. So be careful at that. And for the last chicane, braking point for me is the second marker. I want to brake around here. So maybe I brake just a bit too late. In this case, the second marker is going to be a good marker anyways, but try to brake at it, not before it or past it. Braking to 100%, downshifting to fourth and staying in fourth is going to be key, because third is going to give you a bit of oversteer, which is not helping into this corner. In this corner, you want to induce some understeer, because the car will feel, if you're going to have a moment of oversteer around here by using third gear, then the car is gonna be very sketchy and you can easily DNF in this wall. So I would rather have the car a bit understeery into this part, just so I can have that confidence to put the power down early, because the next corner is again a decent straight. So staying in fourth, going very close to this yellow curb. Same from here, don't touch the yellow curbs, the white curbs, the bigger ones, don't touch them, don't touch those, just go around them. And try to not drop the throttle on the exit like I do here. Try to keep it always up. And in short, that's a track guide of Montreal with the SF23. I hope you have a great week ahead and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.